traditional luncheon. We've had a tea in the past, we've had a lunch in the past. I think it's a great way in which we can continue to build the Lake Forest Academy community in a meaningful way. You come to the school at a time where hopefully the current parents will attest the school is doing exceedingly well. We've got a great group of students, great faculty, great program, and also obviously some new facilities. For some of you who haven't been back on campus for a while, I believe there is going to be a tour, correct, at the end of the luncheon today?
Yes.
Yes. And so those who are interested in that, there will be a tour at the end, so you can get to see some of the new facilities, and particularly the brand new opened in August this year Student Union, which I would say is the greatest student union of any prep school in the United States. And I'm not going to hear anything from Lucas or other people regarding that. Or Andover or any of these other schools. This is an awesome building, we're very proud of it, and it's done a great job of integrating our student community and helping in that way. I also just like to say thank you for Denise and for Adrian and for Susan, who's stepping in for Robin Zafarowski, who was unfortunately called away, for being, sharing with the rest of us your experiences. It's always important, I think, for us to, as an academy, host important and meaningful work. And I'm always very proud when we have sessions such as these, that the members of the Lake Forest Academy community who are doing this work. It makes me very proud that you're a part of that. And with those words of welcome, I'd like to invite Maureen Malarkey, President of the Parents Explosion, back to the podium to introduce our speakers.
Thank you, John. And just as a side note, today as we are here to hear about the power of healing, all of our students, our current students, are out on Service Learning Day today. And they are in various locations throughout the area. And they, in their own way, are also doing healing today. We have the choir singing at a nursing home. We have some other students at a school of underprivileged children, and they're helping them. And there's various activities. So really wasn't part of the script, more or less, but I thought it's very befitting that today we're able to share in these stories and that our students are out there and hopefully, instilling in them a lifelong desire and motivation to continue service in some way throughout their lives. So it's great to see that. And again, I welcome you all, and thanks to John for always his kind words and again, his continued support. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce our three dynamic, accomplished, and resourceful guest speakers who will each briefly share their journey and thoughts on the power of healing. Well known to many of you in the LFA community, alum parent Denise Bunny is an educator, support group leader, and advocate who proactively works to improve the lives of children with or without food allergies. Denise's two sons, Brian and Daniel, each manage life-threatening food allergies, and Daniel also has a digestive disorder related to food allergies. In 1997, Denise co-founded MOCA, which stands for Mothers of Children Having Allergies. It's a support group for food allergic families. Denise served on the committee tasked with authoring the guidelines for the management of life-threatening food allergies in Illinois schools. She recently co-authored The Food Allergy Experience with Dr. Ruchi Gupta. Denise serves on the board of directors for Food Allergy Research and Education, FAIR, which I'm sure she'll remind us that there's a lovely event coming up in May. She is also on the Founders Board of Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago and the Women's Board of Northwestern Wood Forest Hospital. Following Denise, so that I'm not getting up and down, I'm just going to give the intros for each of the ladies. Following Denise will be Adrian McLean J, LFA class of 1994. She, along with her husband Larson, co-founded Random Acts of Flowers, a nonprofit organization that repurposes flowers, and in some cases use floral arrangements like we have at Lake Forest Academy sometimes. They repurpose them into new bouquets, delivering moments of kindness to patients in hospitals, hospice, and senior care facilities nationwide. Adrian began her career in news and entertainment industry and was the co-owner of Double J Creative, a production company specializing in promotional media and feature films like the critically acclaimed film, That Evening Sun. Along with her work at Random Acts Flowers, Adrienne is a trustee of the African Wildlife Foundation, Union College, the Pat Summit Foundation, Knoxville Symphony Orchestra, and Shangri-La Therapeutic Riding Academy. So welcome back to Adrienne. And our third speaker, also well known on the LFA campus, is Susan Coburn. She is currently the Vice President of Membership and Executive Committee member of the Founders Board of the Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. She's stepping in today with a short notice, so we appreciate that. Susan is also a life trustee of LFA and the parent of 3 LFA alumni. While a parent at LFA, she served in many roles, including trustee, Parents Association Gala co-chair, and PA president. We are so delighted that she could be able to speak with us today. These brief introductions are only a snapshot of each of our accomplished speakers' biographies. Please welcome our first speaker, Denise Bunny.
Thanks, Maureen. Hi, parents and friends of LFA. I'm Denise Bunny. I only have 6 minutes to share my story, so we have to get going.
The biggest fear.
I know.
We won't start the clock until.
Arthur's my best friend. Come on.
Along with our great facilities, we have great IT individuals who are always here to assist at moments like this. So I think Arthur will get us going momentarily, because it's always nice to have visuals.
gremlin following me around, but it's okay. We're back.
No, we're not.
We were back.
Denise, I know you can say this though.
Arthur, I'm going to do this when you need to change the slide, okay? All right. Sorry, everybody. Thank you for your patience. healing came through no choice of my own, but as a result of having two very severely allergic children. My oldest, Brian, was born in 1994, and my youngest, Daniel, in 1996. Brian was diagnosed with life-threatening food allergies when he was 6.5 months old, and Daniel when he was 9 months old. There were no support groups for food allergic families in Illinois at that time. There was really no one to turn to for advice and encouragement. So I started my own support group called MOCA, Mothers of Children Having Allergies. But yes, I like coffee too. Many years later, my husband and I helped to merge the two national food allergy organizations into FAIR, Food Allergy Research and Education, which is now the largest organization working on research and education and all things related to food allergy. Let's hear from some of the scientists and leaders of FAIR for a brief overview of what they are doing. Go forward. Go forward.
Perfect.
Fear matters because food allergy has become one of the leading health issues in America.
FAIR has been a leader in organizing institutions who are interested in doing the research, and I think it helps that research move so much faster.
One of the key things I think that FAIR does so well is education and community outreach, and being able to tell not only families and patients, but also the community at large, Congress, teachers, coaches, grandparents. This is a critical problem.
They also work with pediatricians like me on a number of other topics, basic science research, public health, and epidemiology work, and I am so grateful because some of our biggest studies to understand the disease were done thanks to FAIR.
FAIR has been critical first in pushing research that wouldn't have been funded by traditional channels because they have pursued high risk but high reward type of studies.
I've had patients as an allergist that I've lost because of food allergies, and there's nothing I can do to keep these reactions from happening. We're just coming now to the point where we're trying new therapies. They're in development that hopefully will protect these children.
They are committed to this, and what I like about FAIR is they have an idea, but they also act on it. They talk the talk, and they walk the walk. We absolutely have to step forward and support FAIR because they're supporting so many.
We provide a national voice for people with food allergy. We're able to make sure that people in every community are safe.
Next. As I mentioned, when my sons were young and experienced life-threatening anaphylaxis, I was frightened and without a great deal of information. There was no Google at the time, and I wanted the Cliff Notes, but there were none. Next. Food is everywhere. This is obvious, but it's why the lives of food allergic families are challenging. You can't escape the triggers. Next. I quickly realized that it was going to take a community of parents and doctors to navigate through the rough terrain ahead. I needed to own my own feelings and to help them own theirs. Next. After going to a national food allergy conference in 1996, I co-founded MOCA with another local food allergy mom. MOCA's mission is to help parents of children who suffer from food allergies by providing information and opportunities. We aim to make living with allergies just a little bit easier. We at MOCA believe that it's our job as parents to give our children the education, encouragement, expertise, and enthusiasm to get out into the world and safely live their lives to the fullest. Our motto is "Kill 'em with kindness." That motto has proven effective over the years, as there are a lot of high emotions surrounding the implications of food allergies. Next. The early days were all about learning as we went. We did a lot of old school communicating, making physical copies of interesting articles, and mailing out large packets of information, calling and faxing our political representatives, whatever it took to get the word out. Eventually we started emailing newsletters, and I created our website in 2009. Next. Next. In 2013, I co-authored a book and made it available nationally on Amazon. As the plight of the food allergic has gained national and international attention, there has been many great strides in advocacy and awareness. Chicago holds a luncheon every year to raise money and share updates in research and education. We also hold an annual food allergy walk which brings a great deal of awareness to the cause, as does the Teal Pumpkin Project. And if you're at the day school, you can see my giant teal pumpkin when you're dropping off your younger children. I was fortunate from the very beginning to have encouragement from Dr. Jacqueline Pongrasic, our allergist from Lurie Children's Hospital. She told me repeatedly, you can do it. Next. Here's my older son, Brian, who's 23. He's living and working in San Francisco as a research assistant in food allergy at Stanford University, working with some of the leading scientists and medical professionals researching food allergy. Brian hopes to dedicate his professional life to this research. Next. This is Daniel, now 20. He came to LFA as a sophomore in high school. LFA was able to provide the flexibility in his schedule to accommodate his food allergies and his eosinophilic esophagitis, in addition to offering excellent academics, soccer, a variety of musical opportunities. Daniel is now a sophomore at Northwestern, managing economics and musical theater. Next. MOCA and FAIR promote healing through peer support and providing resources for education, research, public health initiatives, which have national impact for food allergy suffering. Thank you very much.
We're going to begin with a little bit of video. This will give you a taste of Random Acts of Flowers. This is something we play for people to get an initial taste. There is a bit of a gratuitous call to action at the end. It's there, but I just want to give you a disclaimer, but I just want you to have a
to let someone know we care, to serve as a beautiful reminder that we're thinking about them. These are for you. At Random Acts of Flowers, volunteers gather donated flowers and repurpose them into beautiful bouquets, and then offer them to unsuspecting recipients at hospitals, senior care centers, and hospice facilities. Oh, how beautiful. Sometimes it only takes a small gesture to make people know that as long as they are part of our community, they do have a support group, that even when life is at its most difficult, there's still warmth and generosity in the world. So beautiful. Since its founding in 2008, Random Acts of Flowers volunteers have delivered tens of thousands of bouquets and smiles. With your support, more people across our country can experience these wonderful moments of kindness. Please join Random Acts of Flowers and help deliver smiles in your community.
Deliver love is my birthday.
Recycling flowers, delivering smiles.
So that gives you a little snapshot into Random Acts of Flowers. Our story really is the classic tale of how you turn lemons into lemonade. My husband and I were on a trajectory, and I was a reporter working in journalism, and he worked in the film and television production business, and it was just a random Sunday when he decided to go put a tarp over a warehouse that we had, and we live in Knoxville. And the ladder simply just gave out from under him. And the reason he's alive is he landed on the ladder instead of the concrete. And so we landed ourselves in a hospital on a whole new path that we never predicted for ourselves. And that's where you have to, once you get over the initial shock of it, find that fork in the road, and you have to decide, is this going to be the event that defines me, or is this going to be the fuel for something good? And we found once we, my husband's a real active guy. So being in a hospital room didn't suit his personality at all. We found once we were able to get him into a wheelchair, we went on a little field trip around the floor, because that's what we were allowed to do. And he sort of peeked into all the other rooms and realized, hey, my my room looks like a flower shop, and all these other people in these really lonely, sad-looking rooms. So he, you know, even in his own state, which is heavily medicated, and in a lot of pain, he said, let's go back, let's get the flowers. And he went back, and you know, he broke everything. He broke his right elbow, right wrist, left wrist, his nose, 10 facial bones, his femur, his knee. So he was kind of like this. 10 okay, so I want you to see that image. And we just started randomly giving these flowers away to the people on the trauma floor. And it was profoundly healing for both the people we were giving them to and for ourselves. And that's the really interesting thing about Random Acts of Flowers is you're providing something for your community. You're creating these beautiful bouquets, but the volunteers that are washing the vases and creating the bouquets, breaking down the bouquets, they're getting almost as much as the people that are receiving the flowers. And I love the stories that come out of the deliveries. We have several favorites, but one of my favorites was a delivery that my husband went on shortly after Valentine's Day. We had all of these beautiful red roses. We went into the room of this woman, and she was in her 80s, and she knocked on the door and said, hi, I'm here with Random Acts of Flowers, I have an okay for you. And she said, no, those are not for me. And he said, no, they're for you. She's like, no man has ever brought me flowers, do not bring those in here. And he said, no, you need to. He persisted, and she grabbed him by the arm and said, no man has ever brought me flowers. And she started to cry, and he started to cry. And that is the fuel that continues to drive our organization. We are now in 5 cities. We're proud to be here in the Chicago area. My sister-in-law, Brooke McLean, has helped tremendously get our organization going here. And my sister, Gillian Growden, has helped us on a national scale. So I just want to acknowledge them. We're here in Chicago, the Silicon Valley region. We just opened in Indianapolis this year, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Tampa, Florida. And it's been quite an accomplishment. We just had a big milestone last week that I have to share, that we hit our 200,000th bouquet delivered. So we've delivered 201,045 bouquets nationwide. And that has been prepared. Last month alone was 7,684. If you can imagine, 234,119 vases recycled. We all have them in our kitchen or our garage. They're too pretty to throw out, but you have the prettier ones that somebody gave you as a gift, but you don't know what to do with them. And those really make the difference for us. And so we have, at my son's Cub Scout troop, they did a vase drive. You know, they're looking for little things that can help. Our neighborhood, we ran low on vases, and social media is terrific. We just said, hey, does anyone have any vases in your garage? And we get these boxes on your front porch. So it's very empowering. 102,813 volunteer hours donated by community members. And that's something that's been important to us. Both my husband and I have been caregivers, and we've also been patients. So we've experienced the joy of flowers from both perspectives. As a patient, it brightens your day that somebody thought of you, especially someone that you didn't even know was thinking of you when you knocked on your door. But as a patient, it gives you purpose also, because after a couple of days, you start repurposing them yourself. You're like, I want to trim down the stems, I want to put them back together. It gives you something to look at, but also something to do. We have about 100 to 200 volunteers per branch, and here in Chicago, I'm proud to say our largest volunteer base is about 500 people that make it go around. So one of the big takeaways for us as a family is this organization teaches empathy and kindness. I get emotional. I love the image that my children can walk into a hospital and say, I hope you feel better. And it's so genuine. They're not afraid. When my mom was ill, they were able to walk in and say, good morning to everyone. How are you today? I hope you feel better. And it creates this feeling of empathy that really you can experience, and you're changing somebody's life. So let's see if there's anything else. Can I phone a friend? Anyway, I want to thank Lake Forest Academy and all of you for being here today. It really is a joy to share Random Acts of Flowers. It's a simple gesture. We often say in our house, we're not providing peace, we're not curing a a disease, but we are just simply changing the tone of someone's day, one bouquet at a time.
Next, we'll invite Susan Coburn up to the podium.
Thank you, Maureen, and hi, everybody. I know Robin is really sorry that she couldn't be here today. She's at Lurie Children's now, tending to an important issue, but please know she sends her regrets and her best wishes to all of you. I have the honor of sharing with you the remarks that Robin has prepared, and I'll do my best to fill Robin's dainty and elegant but very impressive shoes. And I'm joined today by Lauren Gorder, who is the past president of the Founders Board at Lurie Children's. She'll be here to help in answering any of the questions you may have later. And I would also like to mention that Stephanie Fisher is here. In addition to her love of LFA, also shares passion for Lurie Children's and serves on the Founders Board. And as you know already, Denise Bunning as well, in addition to her incredible work with MOCA, works with us on the Founders Board. So I'll begin with Robin's comments. We'll start with a bit of history to provide context. The story of hope and healing at Lurie Children's actually begins 135 years ago this May. The hospital was founded by a grieving young mother named Julia Foster Porter, who had lost her 13-year-old son Maurice to acute rheumatism. She wanted to ensure that other women wouldn't have to watch their children die for lack of good medical care. Her selflessness has resulted in many generations of children whose lives were saved or improved at the hospital in Chicago that she started with just 8 beds. The hospital was supported from the beginning by a group first known as the Board of Lady Managers, and now we are known as the Founders Board. This is the board that Robin leads so beautifully today. Over the years, the hospital has grown, been renamed, and relocated. We were known as Children's Memorial until the move about 5 years ago from Lincoln Park to Streeterville, where we became the Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. Lurie Children's now cares for nearly 200,000 children each year, more children than any other pediatric hospital in Illinois. More than 50% of the children we treat are low-income patients on Medicaid. We serve as a key safety net hospital for the state of Illinois. At its core, Lurie Children's is a place of hope and healing. Children and families come for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's to mend a broken bone or have a complex but recoverable surgery. But often they come with a chronic condition or a devastating and scary diagnosis. The hospital is known for excellent clinical care, but Lurie Children's understands that care extends well beyond treatment. Lurie Children's treats the whole child and practices family-centered care. The Founders Board supports this commitment to making sure our patients and their families are supported mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The Founders Board is made up of remarkable women who are committed to the mission of the hospital. Many women on our board have had firsthand experience with the hospital and want to give back to the institution that cared for their child. Others on our board join because of their desire to provide a brighter future for the children in our city. As a board, we are dedicated to supporting the mission of the hospital through our active engagement in philanthropy, stewardship and fundraising, advocacy and governance, and volunteerism. Our involvement across all these platforms helps to provide the resources, opportunities, and experiences that supplement the medical care. Of course, the hospital's utmost concern is for the health, welfare, and well-being of the patients and families we serve. But it doesn't end there. We uphold, celebrate, and recognize the individuals involved in the child's care, the doctors, the nurses, and the staff that support them, and all members of the Lurie Children's family. Beyond medical expertise, those who work alongside children are deeply compassionate and committed. As a board, we do all that we can to provide support. Fundraising is an important element of our work as it allows us to provide resources for the recruitment of the best and the brightest physicians to Lurie Children's. Our funding also supports research, the cornerstone of hope and healing. as new discoveries can lead to cures, innovative, less invasive surgery techniques, new therapies, and more. We also use our resources to celebrate those on the front lines, our nurses. We hold an annual holiday party each December and celebrate our nurses during Nurses Week in May. In my opinion, our nurses are the heroes in bringing hope and healing to our patients and their families. I could offer many examples of how our fundraising has supported the incredible work of family services, the non-medical area of the hospital that supplements care with social workers, chaplains, art and music therapy, interpreters, special gifts for children, and more. Sometimes it's the simple little things that make the difference with the challenges facing our patients. On a personal level, our board has the opportunity to engage with our patients and families. A few examples are distributing books to our patients and their siblings in our clinics, decorating our inpatient team rooms for prom, as we did just this last weekend, and providing a hot chocolate stand for the unveiling of our holiday decor in December. These interactions and personal connections illustrate that we are all part of the Lurie Children's family, and that each person who touches the lives of our patients and families offers hope and healing by their kindness, care, and compassion. As a board, we are grateful to our founder, Julia Foster Porter, who knew that Chicago needed a hospital dedicated solely to the care of children, and we are all in carrying on her legacy and the tradition that endures of providing the best possible medical care for the children we are privileged to serve. And Robin planned to end with a special video that truly illustrates what Lurie Children's is all about. We can start that.
All the research, all the specialists, all the expertise, all the care, all the champions, all the bravery, all the breakthroughs, all the helpers, all the hope, all the strength, all the smiles, all the effort, all the time, all for your one. And Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago.
Thank you all for the chance to share.
Thank you, Susan. And again, thank you, Denise, Adrian, and Susan for sharing your unique, inspiring, and emotional experiences on the topic of the power of healing. The incredible gift of your time and your talents is benefiting so many, as we've seen in the photos and the videos and just your personal words. So before we accept a few questions from the audience, please join me again in a round of applause for Denise Spivey. Do you have any questions from the audience that can be directed at any of the ladies? I have a question we'll start with. How does one get involved in your organizations? Do you want to start, Denise? So someone wanted to get involved with FAIR or MOCA.
So you absolutely can reach me personally or via either of the websites, but I think that from a standpoint of the LFA community, I'm completely an open book on all of the different organizations I help. So seriously, if you know anyone that needs help, just shoot me an email or a text, or I don't Snapchat.
Yes.
Adrian.
Random Acts of Flowers survives and thrives on volunteers. So the great thing about Random Acts of Flowers is there's so many different layers. The way it works is we have an event like this, and these flowers need to come to our facility in Evanston. So we need people for pickup, we need people to wash faces, break down the bouquets, assemble the bouquets, deliver the bouquets. So there's so many different layers of how you can get involved in the organization. And we've enjoyed also working with school groups, and it's a multi-generational thing. It's something that we can do with our kids. We've enjoyed that.
Thank you. And who wants to take this one?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
A wonderful thing about Lurie Children's is that there are so many incredible ways to get involved, and you can really pick an area that strikes you personally. We have 5K events, we have walks through town, we have an Aeon climbing steps where you can raise money to help with Lurie Children's. There's a radio team, Kathy and Eric and Kathy, who do a radiothon on a regular basis for Lurie Children's. We have a thriving volunteer program that you could work toward getting involved with. There are so many different ways, and then there are lots of different organizations that are more formal, like the Founders Board, that support the work of the hospital in different ways. So my suggestion is to contact the hospital and get talking with someone who can help steer you in the particular area that best meets your interest.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
We'll start with Jen.
So for the Random Act of Flowers, I am an owner of a flower shop, but it's artificial flowers. Do you ever have any recipients that are allergic that you would like to give flowers to? Yes. And you would need silk flowers maybe? Because I always have extras, at the end of the year when I'm doing my inventory, so I can always donate those.
The answer is yes, and you can connect with our local branch. It's Random Acts of Flowers. You just Google Random Acts of Flowers Chicago. But there are certain areas that don't allow live flowers. So absolutely.
Okay, great.
Well, that's a great connection.
My question is also about Random Acts of Flowers. So, my children are kind of in an age where they're getting invited to a lot of different events, bar mitzvahs, obviously graduations, things of that sort. How much lead time is needed? If you wanted to donate centerpieces or things of that sort, how much lead time is needed to contact Random Act of Flowers and say, this is the date, this is the event, to get things coordinated?
Okay,
The answer to your question is it's never too early or too late. We really do try to work with facilities and event spaces in particular so that they're aware of us, so that when you're booking, they can say, if you'd like to donate your flowers, we can reach out to this organization. But if it's something you're thinking at the last minute, at the very least call, because it would just depend on the inventory and what volunteers we can get in that week. But always ask, because our capacity is just based on how many flowers we get in each week, which we work with wholesalers, we work with florists, we have a relationship with FTD Pro Flowers. So we do get a good volume of flowers, but the flowers that come from special events are usually quite unique and beautiful. So
While you have it, can I just ask a question? So like, let's say you have tons of vases, which our office does, and we're trying to figure out how to get rid of them. How do they get to you? Does someone pick them up? Do we need to bring them to you?
Vase drives are an essential part of what we do. So yes, please collect them, and then just contact your local, in this case it's the Chicago branch, so just contact the Chicago branch and send a volunteer to pick them up.
You keep saying Chicago. Is it in Evanston or Chicago?
It's Evanston serving the Chicago community, so it's based in the north. Sorry, that's the Knoxville and coming out now. So, but we're based in Evanston, so that we can service sort of the north end of the city, and eventually we would like to expand to service the western suburbs and southern suburbs as well.
The reason I ask is because it's a lot quicker to get to Evanston
Yes.
than it is to Chicago.
Yes, no, yeah, that would be good tip.
Is it for her now?
No.
Okay.
I have a child with severe allergies as well, and what I found moving to this area, I feel like relatively new, that it was hard to find people to take EpiPen to recycle. So I have a small bag that I'm collecting them from the schools, friends, and I convinced the local hospital to take them, but a lot of pharmacies, doctors' offices, hospitals won't take them anymore. I am in pharma, so we're working with the Walgreens organization too to kind of move the needle, but I don't know if you have any suggestions of places to help out. They do have local pharmacy drives or recycled, they don't take sharps to recycle drugs. And a lot of people are putting this in the landfill, which is not safe.
So that's an excellent question. It's been a problem for quite a while, and you guys are probably all aware of different, the EpiPen saga that's been around. Like there was a money issue, and then they were recalled, and now different types of versions of epinephrine auto-injector. So there's a generic epinephrine auto-injector, there's the EpiPen, which is a brand name, and then there's a new one called Auvi-Q, which talks to you. So in terms of your question about, we've been trying, the national organization, as well as MOCA, as well as every other support group leader that I know, I have hundreds and hundreds of them, because you need to practice, you need to tell people. Lauren was talking. So you teach teachers, yes, you teach teachers or different types of coaches and everything else, but then what do you do with them? So it's a big problem. So if you get any leeway, certainly let me know, because it's been an issue.
So I just keep my bag.
Well, what I've done, I was going to say, that emergency room will probably get mad at me for saying this. What I've done is, if you have a doctor that's prescribed it, you can either go back to that doctor and say, I'm either giving this back to you, or you need to come up with a way, because the sharps won't. The emergency room usually will.
The lab, I got a technician at the lab that said that they were willing to take it for me, but they don't want me to spread the word of that.
I know, see, that's the same thing.
You got other questions? Oh, Marty.
I hope I don't get in trouble for asking. My question is for Denise, also about MOCA. So, one of the things that's happening, first of all, on the EpiPen issue is, in my son's school, they're currently studying CPR and health and all these things. And is it possible to have school outreach to allow schools and students to practice this, A? And B, do you have school outreach programs? Because so many of my children happen to go to a private school that does not have a nurse on hand. And so like their way of handling food allergies is there's a nut-free table at lunch. That's it. I'm wondering if you can speak to that.
Actually, there's a program at Lurie that I'm going to promote right now. So from a local standpoint, so all the different types of the rules on food allergies, if you're in a school, if you're a public school versus a private school. So again, like you mentioned, so some schools do have nurses, some schools have aides, some schools don't have, anything in the regard of the medical. From a local standpoint, certainly MOCA, we can help you connect with people that can come and train. I can come in and train different types of people. There's a program at Lurie called FACE, which stands for Food Allergy Support and Education. And there is a staff member, Dr. Sarah Boudreau Romano, that runs that program. And she goes all over the state of Illinois to do that. So it's a fantastic resource, and both public and private, because you have to work with what the parameters are for that particular school.
Thank you. Another great connection. All right, more questions? Any more questions?
So, I got a question for you, Denise. I'm curious if it just seems this way, or if there is some fact to this. But looking back, I think about, when I was a child in the 60s, it certainly doesn't seem like we had so much of this going on, and now it's so prevalent. And is there an impact to that, and why is it?
So that's an excellent question. Neither my husband nor I, same thing, I'm 50. you know, my kid's 23 and 20, off the chart allergies, neither of us had any allergies. So to your point from a science research, yes indeed, you're not imagining it, all of us are not imagining it, all autoimmunes are up. So from a science, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a mom, but you know, you're starting to hear about, you know, food allergies and celiac disease and eosinophilic esophagitis and different types of autism, and all the different types of autoimmunes are up. And so researchers really are trying to do the research, basic science, and they're trying to pinpoint exactly what's happening. Is it in the water? Is it the hygiene hypothesis theory, that we're not becoming, our world is too clean? So there's a lot of different research that points to certain things, but there isn't one thing. Like, I can't tell you specifically why food allergies. That's what they're working on. They're working on different types of oral immunotherapy responses to make things to make people less allergic. But right now there is no cure, which is why you always have to have your auto-injector. And, you know, I'll take this opportunity. If you ever see anyone having an allergic reaction, don't hesitate. Get the EpiPen or auto-injector and do it, and then call 911. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt the person. You don't have to be, I mean, yes, I can train everybody, take the top off, you go like this. So, but you will save a life. And people have died, unfortunately, because people were like, should we, shouldn't we? Yes, you should.
Thank you. We have time for a couple more questions. If anyone, or one more? Oh, perfect. Maybe not a question. We're going to ask and answer, I guess.
My question is, could you give us one or two safety tips? I live in a home without food allergies, but we often are hosts to children or people with food allergies. So what's a basic one or two things that we can do to make our home a safer environment for someone?
That's a great question. I think families that have any types of child or whether it's celiac or food allergies, whether it's life-threatening or an intolerance, nowadays it's a lot easier because things are labeled. And so families that I don't expect the world, I mean, it's on my website, you know, the world is not milk, egg, peanut, tree nut, shellfish, that are free. But, nor do I expect it to be. But if I have the opportunity to go someplace and someone has allowed me to either say, this is what I'm serving, or this is the ingredients, or saving the package, that makes my life or my child's life so much easier, because yes or no, I can have it or not have it. And so just being, you know, communicate with people and being honest. I mean, I had a lot of friends say, my kids are never, you know, your kids are never coming over to my house. And I was like, okay, so then your kids are gonna come to my house. So just being open and honest about it, like don't pretend that it's okay if it's not okay. That's okay. There's plenty of other ways that we can get together. Lots of different things to do without including food. So.
Thank you. Those are great questions. Thank you so much from the audience.
Yes. Again, I want to give a heartfelt thanks to Denise Bunning, Adrian McLean-Jay, and Susan Coburn for coming today. Thank you all for attending LFA's annual Parents Association Parents and Parents of Alumni Spring Luncheon. We hope you get to register for gala today, so don't forget that. And with that, we've concluded. And if you'd like to go for a tour, please see Sheila Moeller in the back.